Hello crypto friends, hope you're doing well. So an early morning check-in here, just a quickie video to catch up on all the wildness and the action from last night. And then today's the day to be going around and getting varying opinions from other people. And so far what I'm going to be telling you is my opinion combined with our members' opinions and just, how we are wrapping our heads around what's happening. But it's certainly important to keep an open mind and get other people's opinions before formulating your own. So we're going to be looking at USDT. Tether is the reason for this craziness, and we're going to be watching other exchanges. So basically what it boils down to is a lot of uncertainty about Tether kind of came to a head last night where everybody rushed to the exit. And by rushing to the exit, they sell, or I should say they take their Tether, they buy crypto, they transfer their crypto to a different exchange, and then they either hold that crypto or sell that crypto for US dollars. So pretty much it's just a race for an exit away from Bitfinex, and we can see the price of Tether dumped all the way down to 85 cents. So that is a huge discrepancy in terms of what it's supposed to be tracking the dollar one-to-one, and it's one of the biggest sell-offs we've seen. So pretty much the FUD that we've heard in Tether that has come up time and time again, and whether this is a rumor or not, people saying, a rumor that Tether is going to be removed from Binance, all these things, I don't care whether it's a rumor or not right now, because what's real is the price action and what's real is the fear, and the confidence for Tether is at an all-time low right now. So it's very interesting to have essentially a bearish event in the sector with just more uncertainty, more lack of trust. Some people feel that, Tether getting out of this cryptocurrency space in the long term is a good thing. That may be the case, but in the short term, it's clearly not. All it's going to do is add confusion and uncertainty and create wild price fluctuations. So it's interesting to see that a bearish event is leading to a spike in cryptocurrency values because everybody's leaving Tether into crypto and then transferring out. So there's the dump. We're seeing a bit of a recovery at this point. We're watching for an hourly equilibrium essentially. And the question is, can we normalize? Can we see USDT make its way back to that $1 level, or at least the upper 90s, back to where it was, and calm some of these fears to a certain degree? So there's definitely questions that arise, the backing by Tether, how could this happen? Is the increase in supply, the rush that we saw, is the delay of the, arbitrage and evening out, is that due to funds moving between banks before buying up some of this supply? I don't have the answers, and those questions will probably get answered a little bit more as time goes on, and we'll also have a lot more speculation from a lot more people as to what's going on. But as far as the price levels, because that's what I care about most, the price of Bitcoin, and it's different on varying exchanges. So the question now is, what exchange do we use to look at the price of Bitcoin? For me, I'm using US dollar exchanges because I'm trading in US dollars. I've always been charting Coinbase Pro because that's what I'm trading on, and I look at these other exchanges for some cross-referencing. But at this point, I would only be sticking to US dollar exchanges. And whether that is Coinbase Pro or BitMEX or some of these other exchanges, that's where I would be focusing on, not on Bitfinex and these exchanges that are subject to the Tether. So what I'm going to be looking at right now on Coinbase is a clear rejection. So we rejected from the weekly lower high of resistance. It was a perfect rejection. 68.23 is our new weekly lower high. We rejected from 68.10. So very clearly, it's just a lower high on the weekly time frame. So I woke up this morning, and before I wrapped my head around what was going on, I looked at this weekly chart and I said, wow, that's a nice spike, but it did nothing to change anything. We're still lower than where we were before the dump. We did see a big spike, yes, absolutely. But essentially where we're standing right now is about about $200 above the high of yesterday, or $100 above the high of yesterday. So yes, it's a solid, huge move. It didn't last long. Again, the video yesterday, the whole theme was we need continuation. These short-term spikes are not enough. We need to see higher lows and higher highs on the hourly time frame for the bears to have pressure. And at this point, we did see bears cover some of their short positions. They were forced to. And let's look at that for a second. So here's the shorts that we're covering, and that's essentially just orders getting triggered, stop losses for the shorts getting triggered, and a surge that led to that. So essentially the price action that we saw on Bitcoin wasn't only the Tether action and people moving funds around, it was that as a catalyst, and then of course regular trading that goes on. Bulls jump in, bears have to cover their shorts, and that just magnified the move. So again, the bottom line for me, nothing has changed on the Coinbase chart for me. So the daily chart, again, as I said, we're lower than where we were when we dumped. If we look at the hourly time frame, I was looking for an equilibrium here, and it's looking like it's not going to happen. And the reason that it's probably not going to happen is arbitrage. And that's what I'm talking about, where people moving coins from Bitfinex and other exchanges over to the US dollar exchanges and then selling back into US dollars. So the most important support right now is 63.60, and I considered a play this morning to look for an entry and then just use this low of consolidation as my stop. But then I saw a lack of any follow through. Again, if this were a normal equilibrium, we would have looked for a bounce all the way up to about 6,600 to form that lower high. And at this point, that lower high happened very quickly, and we're coming down to test support again. If we break 63.60, there's no clear support nearby on the hourly. And again, just like that, we're right back at the levels from yesterday, which were not impressive at all. So just keeping perspective as far as Coinbase Pro goes and BTC USD, not a lot has changed right now. As far as these other exchanges, you look at Bitfinex exchange and it broke all kinds of weekly resistances. We ran up to 7,700 and we hit the highest price that we have seen in the past 3 months or so. That being said, that is because it is being measured against the USDT, and that is the 15% discrepancy comparative to the dollar, which is why we get the extra move on this exchange for Bitcoin to the upside. So again, I am not going to be charting Bitfinex and Tether exchanges. I'm going to check in on them and see how this ends up playing out. A little bit more of an equilibrium here on this hourly time frame. But again, for the broader scope of where Bitcoin stands, for me, it's being measured against the dollar that's important for right now. So 67.32 is key support here, and 70.20 is resistance. And in my opinion, like I said, we're just going to see arbitrage and things slowly settle back to a bit of a norm today and maybe even into tomorrow in the next couple of days. But for me, rather than, getting all confused and wrapping my head around all of this, it's just very simple to stay with my exchange, to stay with the US dollar, and to say, all right, a quick spike, no follow through, bulls didn't prove anything. All it does is add another resistance level, and now this is essentially a triple top up at 6,800 and a clear resistance to be watching going forward. Other than that, not much has changed for me. Now, watching the fundamental developments in the cryptocurrency space and how this all plays out is absolutely going to be interesting, but that is separate from price level for me. So price level on Coinbase, that's telling me where we stand in the cryptocurrency space. And again, you can use other US dollar exchanges that have more volume, that's fine. And fundamentally, watching how this all develops is going to be very interesting. Can you imagine, again, we that are watching these videos, if you're watching my video, you're in the 1% of people that even understand cryptocurrency. So can you imagine trying widespread adoption and having this occur and trying to explain to somebody on the outside in simple terms? Even explaining this to a stock trader, I would have issues explaining, what Tether is. It would take so long to explain what Tether is, what's happening, why is this wild, crazy price action happening. So move beyond even stock traders, which it would be hard to explain to, and move to the general population. And again, this is why adoption is going to be a slow road and really hard, because there is no way that you're going to explain to a baby boomer, this is why you need Bitcoin in your long-term portfolio when stuff like this is occurring in the space. And it's just complete uncertainty, fear, emotion, huge volatility. Again, it's a step back in terms of widespread adoption for cryptocurrency, in my opinion. So Ethereum, we saw a bull move here as well. Here it is on Coinbase again. We didn't even make back. It's just a lower high on the daily. We did see some arbitrage, as cryptocurrency, as Bitcoin's going to run. Some of these bots are going to kick in and buy these other coins as well. But again, it's not significant. It's just a lower high. And here we are almost right back to where we were up at the high of yesterday, which was still a very unimpressive move. So no bear flag on the daily at this point, which looks like could be likely, but also no clear bull breaks or follow through. Not a whole lot going on. So we'll see if the shorts continue to cover. I'll still keep an eye on what Tether's doing and what Bitfinex is doing. But bottom line is I didn't act. I was sleeping last night. No trades went through, no sell orders, buy orders, nothing was triggered. So I'm just starting with a clean slate, keeping a clear mind, and continuing to use the Coinbase chart, as that's the most clear and the most simple and the least confusing for me personally in terms of price action. So I appreciate you watching. And again, go out there and find other people's opinions and wrap your head around what's going on. And most importantly, don't panic and act on those emotions, and things will level out and sort out a little bit here over the next couple of days. And the cryptocurrency space as a whole will begin to wrap our heads around this and what it means for the short-term future going forward. So keep doing good things out there. I appreciate you watching, and certainly never a dull moment. Well, I take that back. It was a dull moment yesterday. But just when things get dull, we see these moves. And as we know, we keep talking about the weekly time frame when the break is for real, either whether it's bullish or bearish. it's going to happen very quickly, and we can just a nice reminder on how quickly we can see a 10% move in just a couple of hours. So hope you have a good morning. Hope nobody was crushed in Tether or in anything else, and we'll see what tomorrow brings.